Someone is warning you about a person whose name begins with the letter M. Don't skip. Open this message quickly before it's too late. There are moments in life when you feel a strange heaviness in your spirit, like a quiet alarm going off deep inside you, even when your eyes see nothing wrong. Sometimes, God allows you to feel it before you ever understand it, because your protection does not always come in the form of thunder or lightning. Sometimes, it comes as a whisper. This message is that whisper. This is not just a passing thought. It's a divine interruption. Someone is warning you about a person whose name begins with the letter M, and it's not without reason. It's because your peace, your destiny, your emotional well-being, and even your spiritual protection are being quietly tested in a way you may not even see yet. This person may not look harmful. They might not speak with venom or walk with threat. But not every danger screams. Some simply smile. If you feel something stirring right now and this message is reaching you at a time when your spirit has been unsettled, do not ignore this. God doesn't warn without purpose. He doesn't speak in vain. When heaven releases a warning, it is not to scare you but to shield you. Someone with a name beginning with the letter M carries something that is not for you. It may look like friendship, opportunity, or comfort. But if God has allowed this moment to reach your eyes and ears, it is because your path must not be entangled with what will delay, distract, or destroy what He has planned for your life. There is no coincidence in the timing of this. There is no randomness in this word. If your heart is beating faster, if your thoughts are racing to a face or a memory, do not silence that. Comment Amen if your spirit is feeling this truth right now. This is for the ones who have been praying for clarity, asking for signs, begging God to reveal what they couldn't see with their own eyes. This is it. Someone with a name that begins with the letter M is connected to a hidden battle in your life. You may not have seen it clearly yet, but the fruit of this connection is already leaving trails of confusion, emotional fatigue, spiritual distance, or subtle manipulation. And you have tried to brush it off. You've told yourself maybe you're overthinking, or maybe it's just a phase. But the Holy Spirit sees beyond words and intentions. He sees the heart. He sees the motives. He sees what is being spoken behind your back, what is being plotted behind closed doors, what is being masked with a smile. This warning is not to harm you. It's to rescue you. It's to place you back into alignment with the peace and purpose God designed for your life. The wrong person in your inner circle can cause more spiritual damage than 1,000 enemies on the outside. One person with silent jealousy, with hidden motives, with quiet manipulation, can delay what God has planned. You might not know the full story yet. You might still feel torn. But the fact that this message has found you is no accident. When God steps in with a word like this, it is mercy speaking before pain has the chance to arrive. Like this video if you feel God is trying to speak directly to your heart through these words. There is something very serious happening behind the scenes of your life. What you see is only the surface. But the spiritual realm is never silent. There has been a shift in the atmosphere, and you've felt it. You've sensed things not sitting right. You've noticed moments where you felt drained after certain conversations, where your peace felt fragile, and your trust began to fade without clear reason. That is not accidental. That is not meaningless. When a soul is under spiritual pressure, the Lord begins to bring awareness to what is unseen. He pulls back the curtain. He brings light to what darkness tried to keep hidden. The person whose name begins with the letter M may not be your enemy in a loud, obvious way. But the devil rarely works through what is loud. He works through what is tolerated. He works through what is allowed to stay too long. What may have started as harmless could become the root of cycles you were meant to break free from. You were not created to live in cycles of confusion. You were not made to feel emotionally exhausted by people who were sent only for a season but stayed too long. Some people are lessons. Some are blessings. And some are both. But if God is now raising a warning in your spirit, it means the lesson is complete, and the longer you delay, the harder it will be to walk in the freedom meant for you. The enemy is cunning. He doesn't always fight you with swords. Sometimes he simply sends a distraction. He sends someone with just enough kindness to stay, just enough connection to remain, just enough familiarity to feel safe. But in your heart, you know something is off. This person with the name beginning with M might not be all bad. That's what makes it so difficult. That's why this warning is urgent. Because when you care, you second guess. When you're loyal, you tolerate. But God sees what you cannot. He knows how long this person has had access to your heart, your thoughts, your plans, your weaknesses. And He is saying, this is the time to listen, not delay. Comment 11:11 if you believe God is speaking something very specific to your life right now. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to see the full picture. You just need to be obedient to the nudge of the Holy Spirit. When you ignore divine warnings, you invite unnecessary pain. But when you respond to God's whisper, you make space for His protection. You are not weak for walking away from what is no longer aligned with your calling. You are not wrong for choosing peace over connection. What if just 7 seconds could flip your entire financial life? A shocking CIA leak has revealed a powerful brain ritual that's helping ordinary people wipe out debt and attract wealth beyond imagination. Backed by 4 cutting-edge neuroscience labs, this at-home breakthrough is turning everyday lives into dreams, luxury cars, beautiful homes, endless vacations. But this secret may vanish soon. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. You are not selfish for listening to God over staying loyal to someone who might be carrying weight you were never meant to carry. Your soul has been tired long enough. Your spirit has been carrying things it was never designed to hold. If God is highlighting a person, especially someone with the letter M, it is for your covering. It is for your restoration. It is for your release. This is not about judging someone. It's not about blaming. It's about freedom. It's about stepping into the season God has been preparing for you. It's about shedding what no longer belongs so that your hands are free to receive what does. The longer you hold on to what drains you, the harder it is to hold what blesses you. You are not being punished. You are being guided. God's love warns. God's mercy interrupts. God's voice protects. He is not letting you go into the next season blind. He is making sure you go in covered. You are being led away from something that your eyes have not fully seen but your spirit already knows. The person connected to this warning might have shared your table, spoken kindly, or even prayed with you, but not every connection is born from divine appointment. Some come wrapped in false light, looking like safety but hiding the slow erosion of your peace. God is speaking to the part of you that has been second-guessing itself. The part that has tried to explain away the unease. The part that has hoped maybe things will change, maybe you're being too sensitive, maybe it's just stress. But the ache inside your spirit is not confusion. It's discernment. It's the quiet language of the Holy Spirit trying to tell you what your heart cannot explain in words. God never leaves His children in the dark. He brings awareness when the soul starts settling for less than what heaven has prepared. This person, whose name begins with the letter M, may not be evil in appearance, but their role in your life has shifted. Where there was once alignment, there is now a hidden cost. And God is revealing it to set you free, not to make you afraid. There are seasons in your life where God removes people not because they are entirely wrong, but because they are no longer right for where you're going. Not everyone is meant to cross every bridge with you. Not every voice is meant to echo in your next chapter. If someone's presence in your life is starting to cloud your faith, question your worth, shift your mood, or slow your growth, then this is God telling you that your spirit was never meant to carry this weight. This is not about rejecting people. It's about preserving your purpose. There's too much at stake. The enemy uses familiarity to slip in unnoticed. But God is exposing what needs to be released. You were not created to live in confusion or emotional instability. You were not formed by the hands of the Creator to keep dragging dead weight into the places He has called you to flourish. God is preparing something holy for you, something peaceful, something clear and abundant. But you cannot take spiritual heaviness into sacred spaces. He is cleansing your surroundings. He is setting boundaries where your heart has been too open. He is telling you, gently but firmly, it's time to close the door before what's behind it poisons the rooms He's calling you to walk into. Comment 222 if you trust that God is protecting you from what you cannot see yet. There is no shame in outgrowing what no longer feeds your soul. There is no guilt in choosing silence where there used to be noise. God gives you peace as a compass. When someone's presence begins to cloud that peace, when your thoughts spiral after their calls, when your energy drains after their presence, that is your sign. Don't argue with your peace. Don't negotiate with your clarity. The Holy Spirit brings awareness not to torment you, but to guard you. Some people carry storms in their spirit. And when they enter your life, they may calm your loneliness, but they will stir your battles. You must be careful what you invite into your inner circle. You must guard your garden with holy fear. You might still feel torn. That's normal when your heart cares deeply. But love is not supposed to hurt you into silence. Loyalty is not supposed to make you small. And connections are not supposed to lead you into repeated spiritual exhaustion. God is restoring your vision. He's showing you that what you thought was harmless has been draining you quietly. The person with the letter M may not know the damage they've caused. Or maybe they do. But either way, the time for pretending has passed. The time for delay is over. God is drawing a clear line. You don't need to be angry. You don't need to explain. You just need to follow the leading of the Spirit, because He never warns without reason. You are loved too deeply by God to be left in a place that is no longer safe for your spirit. You are called too powerfully to keep standing in rooms that echo with hidden agendas. You are protected too strongly to keep allowing access to hearts that aren't walking in truth. This is your turning point. This is your moment to release, to surrender, to obey. And your obedience will not come back empty. There is healing on the other side of this. There is clarity waiting once you shut this door. There is peace that has been knocking on your heart, but it cannot enter until you remove what has been blocking its way. Could this hidden CIA brain ritual be the real reason people are suddenly rich? A secret CIA discovery has just leaked, revealing a brain hack that's pulling wealth into people's lives effortlessly. It only takes 7 seconds, it's done at home, and it's backed by 4 neuroscience labs. Debt is vanishing, luxury is becoming normal. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky, the page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. If you've been crying in silence, praying behind closed doors, asking God to show you who is real and who is for you, then this is your answer. The person you're being warned about is not for your next season. That doesn't make them evil, but it does mean they can no longer be central in your journey. Their influence, their access, their voice must be released. You have carried this weight long enough. You have made excuses long enough. It is time to let go, not with bitterness, but with holy trust that what God removes, He replaces with something greater. God is not just removing a person. He is making space for protection. He is placing angels around your heart again. He is calming your nervous system. He is lifting the fog off your mind. He is straightening your path. He is breaking the soul ties that kept you tangled in cycles. He is restoring your confidence in Him. You are not being abandoned. You are being positioned. You are not being left behind. You are being launched. You are not losing a person. You are gaining your spiritual authority back. What you are releasing is nothing compared to what is coming. Let your soul breathe. Let your heart be still. God is not asking you to fight this battle. He is asking you to walk away and let Him handle what you cannot. He is not asking for perfection. He is asking for surrender. And if you lay this down, He will lift you up. He will guide you. He will shield you. He will give you back the version of yourself that you forgot existed, the one full of joy, clarity, peace, and power. You have not seen your best days yet. But they cannot begin while you're still entangled in the presence of someone God has warned you about. He is not the author of confusion, so when your peace starts unraveling quietly in the presence of someone, that is often the first sign that His hand is lifting something out of your life before it becomes the very thing that breaks you. This message is still being spoken over your heart, not to stir fear, but to anchor you in truth. You are not imagining the shift. You are not being dramatic. You are discerning. You are hearing from God. He is still speaking. You've probably felt torn in the silence of your room, unsure whether to hold on a little longer or finally let go. Maybe you've wrestled with guilt, trying to make sense of why someone who once seemed like an answered prayer has now become a source of spiritual weight. Maybe this person showed up in a time when you needed comfort, stability, or even joy. But not every connection that enters during a storm is meant to walk with you into the sunshine. Some people are sent as temporary shelter, and when the skies clear, God asks you to move on. But the heart often lingers where it once found peace, even if that peace has already turned into quiet chaos. That chaos might not look like loud fights or visible betrayal. It might look like tiredness in your spirit. It might feel like always having to explain yourself. It might show up as a slow dimming of your inner light. A person whose name begins with M may have once brought calm, but now your soul quietly sighs when they call. Your thoughts lose clarity. Your emotions become unstable. Your faith feels a little further away. These signs are not random. They are the Spirit's way of saying, "Look again, something is off." And if you have found yourself praying more since this person entered your life, not because they inspire your walk with God, but because you are constantly seeking peace after interacting with them, that is your sign. That is not spiritual growth. That is spiritual warning. You don't have to hold on to something that is draining you. You don't have to prove your loyalty to someone who doesn't align with your assignment. You don't have to stay tied to what God is asking you to walk away from. Comment 333 to declare your faith that God is protecting you even from what you cannot yet see. The spiritual world is always more real than what we can see with our physical eyes. While we are distracted by faces and words, God is focused on intentions and spirits. He sees what dwells behind the smile. He knows what is hidden in conversations you will never hear. He knows what has been planned while you were still trusting. That is why He sends warnings like this, to wake you up before you're wounded too deeply. This isn't punishment. It's protection. This isn't rejection. It's redirection. And it comes from a place of deep, relentless love. Some people are sent to distract you from your mission, not with obvious evil, but with subtle dependency. They make you second-guess your strength. They make you rely more on their opinion than God's voice. They weave themselves into your daily habits, your thoughts, your emotions, and before long, your identity starts shifting. You become quieter in your faith, more hesitant in your confidence, more unsure of your direction. That is not God's will for you. He created you for boldness, for clarity, for peace that surpasses understanding. If any relationship is costing you that, it is not from Him. And the person with the name starting with M might be the one who is holding you back without even realizing it, or worse, fully knowing it. Why is this 7-second brain ritual suddenly going viral? Leaked CIA files have exposed a hidden brainwave technique that opens the floodgates to wealth. Verified by 4 top labs, this ritual is turning financial pain into prosperity, fast. From massive bills to luxury trips, it's changing lives. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. You are not being called to fight this battle in the flesh. You are being called to release it in the spirit. This warning is an act of love. It is God standing between you and something that has the potential to wear out your soul. You've already spent too long trying to make sense of why things feel heavy. You've already silenced your intuition to avoid confrontation. But now is the time to move. To surrender. To believe that if God is asking you to let someone go, He will fill the space they leave with something that brings life and not weight. Joy and not confusion. Growth and not doubt. God's protection often comes wrapped in what feels like discomfort. But in the end, it saves you. It guards your future. It covers your calling. And the calling on your life is too great to be dragged down by the wrong presence. There is a version of you that God is trying to bring forth, a version that is not afraid to choose peace, not afraid to walk away from familiar pain, not afraid to stand in obedience even when it hurts. The longer you hold on to what God is asking you to release, the longer you delay the beauty of what He's trying to place in your hands. Sometimes, the miracle is not in what God gives, but in what He takes away. You may not fully understand why the person with the name that begins with M is being highlighted so clearly in your heart. You may not even have proof of betrayal or failure. But obedience is not based on evidence. It is based on trust. If the Holy Spirit is speaking to you, trust that voice. If the Spirit has been showing you patterns, feelings, unease, trust that. God always leads with purpose. And His warnings are gifts we often don't appreciate until later. You are not missing out. You are not losing. You are being led back to still waters. Back to green pastures. Back to alignment. This is your covering. This is your rescue. This is your moment to release what has been quietly unraveling your peace. Let it go without resentment. Let it go without anger. Let it go with trust that God is already going before you to prepare the right people, the right places, and the right peace. You are favored. You are chosen. You are seen. And heaven is standing over you with outstretched arms, saying, I will not let this destroy you. I love you too much. That is why this message found you. That is why your spirit has been unsettled. That is why the name M has been pressing into your thoughts. God is confirming what your heart already knows. This is not for you anymore. And what is ahead will be so much lighter, so much purer, so much more filled with divine joy. This message remains clear and unshaken. Someone with a name that begins with the letter M has been allowed into your space for a time, but the time has changed. The season has shifted. Their presence no longer carries life for you. What was once allowed is now becoming a weight. What once seemed right is now being gently but firmly removed by the hand of God, for your sake. The Lord will never leave you uncovered. Even when you don't ask, He watches. Even when you don't see it, He surrounds. Even when your heart is confused and torn between love and truth, He stays steady. That is what this message is, God standing between you and what has begun to damage your spiritual growth, and He is stepping in before that damage becomes permanent. You might still wonder if it's too harsh. You might still feel guilty. But grace is not always soft in feeling. Sometimes it is firm in its conviction. You were not made to carry hidden spiritual battles created by someone else's brokenness. You are not responsible for fixing what God is trying to remove. When someone enters your life in a season of weakness or transition, it's easy to think they are your answer. But sometimes they are only a moment, not a mission. Sometimes they are a tool the enemy uses to delay your calling, wrap your heart in confusion, and draw you away from the presence of God. And often, they won't even look like trouble. They'll look like comfort. But comfort is not always safe. What feels familiar can still be dangerous. The longer you stay in something that God is removing, the harder it becomes to hear His voice clearly. Your peace starts to shrink. Your fire starts to dim. And suddenly, you're stuck in a life you were never called to carry. Comment 555 if you are letting go and trusting God's hands to protect your future. The person with the name beginning with M might have been kind. They might have shared good memories with you. They might have even helped you heal from a previous hurt. But God sees what you cannot. He sees the shift in their spirit. He sees the jealousy behind the support. He sees the control behind the kindness. He sees the agenda behind the friendship. And even if their heart isn't fully malicious, their presence is now misaligned. And what is misaligned with your destiny must not stay attached to your journey. You may not understand it fully right now, and that's okay. Obedience never requires complete understanding. It only requires trust. If God is speaking this clearly, if He is bringing this into your spirit again and again, then it is for a reason bigger than what your eyes can see today. You are not being punished. You are being preserved. You are not being stripped of connection. You are being set apart. God doesn't remove without replacing. And when He takes something away, it's not to leave you empty, it's to make room for what is truly meant for you. Is it time you unlock the same CIA secret brain ritual changing lives in seconds? A new leak has revealed a powerful 7-second technique, developed under CIA-funded research and backed by neuroscience. It's helping people magnetize wealth like never before. From debt to luxury, faster than anyone believed. But this miracle won't stay public for long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. You might feel like you're walking away from love. But you're walking toward peace. And the kind of peace God gives will never make you question your worth, your clarity, or your identity. If someone's presence in your life is causing you to compromise the voice of God just to keep them close, then they were never sent from Him to begin with. Sometimes, the enemy doesn't come to destroy. Sometimes he just comes to distract, to delay, to dim your light one moment at a time. And by the time you notice, your fire feels cold and your joy feels distant. But God is too loving to let that be your story. This moment is holy. It's not small. It's not random. It's not dramatic. It is sacred. You are standing at a crossroads between what is comfortable and what is consecrated. The path of comfort will keep you in circles. But the path of obedience will set your soul on fire again. It will restore your sleep. It will clear your mind. It will deepen your intimacy with God. It will make room for divine friendships that don't drain but bless. And all of that starts with listening to the still, small voice that keeps nudging you to pay attention to the name M. This is not just about one person. It is about your future. It is about every prayer you've cried for a better life, a deeper peace, a higher purpose. It's about every time you told God you were ready to grow. You cannot grow and hold on to dead branches. And as painful as it may feel, the pruning is a blessing. You're not losing a person. You're shedding a burden. You're not walking into loneliness. You're stepping into freedom. And God will walk every step with you. There's nothing to fear. You don't need to rush into confrontation. You don't need to prove anything. You simply need to obey the whisper that's already become a shout in your spirit. This person may not even realize the harm they bring. Or maybe they do. Either way, your responsibility is not to fix their heart. It is to guard yours. You were not built to survive off of fragments of connection. You were built to flourish in the full light of God's presence. Let this be your reminder: God does not bring up a name unless there is something attached to it. Something spiritual. Something emotional. Something that needs to be surrendered. Do not cling to what God is calling you to release. If you continue to hold tightly to something that heaven is trying to lift off of you, the pain will deepen. The confusion will grow. And the clarity you've been begging God for will remain out of reach. But the moment you say yes to the release, everything will begin to change. You were never meant to walk this road tangled in someone else's storm. God has better. He has peace. He has joy. He has people who will love you the way He designed love to feel: safe, pure, faithful, without hidden motives or emotional strain. The person with the name M might not have been all bad. But they are not for your next season. Let them go with grace, and walk forward with power. What God is about to do in your life will silence every doubt you've ever had. You are walking into something sacred. This is God gently leading you away from something that has quietly begun to undo you. Someone with a name that begins with the letter M is connected to this divine interruption, and the reason you cannot seem to shake the weight of it is because it is tied to something sacred in your life. This isn't about conflict. It's about clarity. It's about the still small voice that's been getting louder inside of you. You've tried to make sense of it. You've looked for proof, for confirmation, for reason. But sometimes God doesn't give you the full explanation. Sometimes He just gives you a moment of unmistakable knowing, a nudge that won't let you rest, a heaviness that shows up when their name is mentioned, an ache in your spirit that refuses to be soothed. That's the Holy Spirit. That's protection. That's mercy whispering loud. And it matters more than any explanation ever could. Because God sees the end from the beginning, and His love is so protective, so fierce, that He would rather make you uncomfortable for a moment than watch you walk deeper into something that could cost you your destiny. You have been called to a life of clarity, not confusion. You have been called to peace, not emotional storms. And while the enemy tries to disguise delay as comfort, God tears it down before it settles into your soul. That's why this warning is not something to ignore. The person with the name beginning with M may have been tied to a meaningful season, but that season has served its purpose. When the grace for something lifts, your spirit begins to notice, even before your mind understands. And right now, grace has lifted. What was once a connection is now a distraction. What once brought ease now brings weight. Comment 12:12 if you believe God is removing what no longer serves your spirit's peace. The Lord is not asking you to hate. He's not asking you to break ties out of rage. He's asking you to release in love. To walk away not with bitterness, but with a quiet strength that says, I choose God over comfort. That is what obedience looks like. It's not always loud. Sometimes, it's just choosing to stop giving your time, your energy, your spirit to something that no longer carries heaven's breath on it. That doesn't make you cruel. That makes you aligned. That makes you free. Do you know why everyone's whispering about this 7-second CIA ritual? A brainwave ritual leaked from the CIA is changing lives across the globe. Proven by neuroscience, this 7-second method helps regular people attract money, freedom, and luxury. If you're seeing this, you're very lucky. The page might disappear any moment. Click the link in the description and comments to know this secret before it's deleted forever. Letting go can feel like a tearing at first. Especially when your heart is tender and your soul is loyal. But God is more tender with you than anyone else ever could be. And He is guarding your future from the quiet damage that this person's presence has been creating. Sometimes the damage isn't immediate. It creeps in slowly. One compromise at a time. One moment of silence when you should have spoken up. One uneasy feeling that gets buried under busyness. Until one day, you wake up and realize you're further from your peace than you ever meant to be. That is what God is saving you from. He sees the cracks before they become breaks. He sees the manipulation before it turns into control. He sees the slow spiritual decay that starts when you stay too long where His presence no longer rests. And He loves you too much to let you remain there. That is why this message came to you. That is why your spirit has been so stirred. That is why this specific name is pressing against your thoughts like a wave that won't stop rising. Because heaven is involved. Because your story is holy. Because your future is too important to be tied up in anything that does not carry the fragrance of God's presence. The person whose name begins with M might not even know what they are doing. Or maybe they do. But your assignment is not to decode their intentions. Your assignment is to protect your anointing. You carry something precious. You carry prayers that are being answered. You carry dreams that are just beginning to unfold. And you cannot afford to have the wrong people whispering into your future. This isn't about rejection. This is about redirection. This is about making space for the right voices, the right relationships, the right covering. You are not walking away from love. You are walking toward purpose. And any love that costs you your clarity is not God's kind of love. Any friendship that makes you shrink to keep the peace is not healthy. Any relationship that causes you to question your worth is not holy. God is asking you to choose Him. To choose peace. To choose stillness. To choose what aligns with His voice and not your feelings. Because feelings will mislead you, but the Spirit will always protect you. You may not see the blessing in the release right away. But give it time. God never removes something without replacing it with something better, purer, truer. He's not trying to hurt you. He's trying to bless you. He's not trying to isolate you. He's trying to sanctify you. He's not trying to tear your world apart. He's trying to set you free from what was slowly choking your spirit in ways you hadn't even noticed yet. Let this be your moment of peace. The moment you finally let go without needing every answer. The moment you trust the warning even when your heart still wants to hold on. The moment you believe that what God has planned is more beautiful than what you're walking away from. That is faith. That is maturity. That is spiritual power. And that is what God is cultivating in you right now. You don't have to beg anyone to understand this choice. You don't have to convince anyone that it's right. You just need to follow the Spirit. The same Spirit that's been gently calling your name in the silence. The same Spirit that's been lighting up your heart every time this warning comes near. The same Spirit that is now saying, "It's time." You are stepping into a season of clean hearts and clear skies. A season where your peace will not be negotiated. A season where your joy will not depend on someone else's behavior. A season where your life will no longer carry hidden tension, emotional noise, or spiritual confusion. But first, you must let go. Fully. Finally. And with faith that what comes next is a gift wrapped in divine timing. This is not just about discomfort or confusion anymore. This is about obedience. This is about the kind of surrender that shifts everything. The time to hesitate has passed. The time to wait and see is over. Now is the time to respond with trust, because the hand of God is moving, and it is moving in your favor. There is a deep cleansing happening in your life. You may not have asked for it, but it has begun. It is not cruel. It is not random. It is the beginning of God rebuilding your foundations, removing every hidden crack that could not hold the weight of what He's about to pour into your future. Some of those cracks are relationships. Some of those cracks are compromises. And some of them are names, like the one beginning with M, that have been given space in your life for too long. God does not forget what you've prayed for. But sometimes, He must remove what is standing in the way before He answers. And make no mistake, this person may not even realize they've become part of that barrier. They may still call you with love. They may still speak with kindness. But your spirit knows. Your soul has started to shift when they speak. Your heart feels tired in ways it didn't before. And though you keep telling yourself that it's just a hard season or your own doubts, the truth is much clearer. You are not imagining this. You are awakening to it. What once seemed like blessing has turned into burden, and the weight of it is no longer yours to carry. Comment 777 if you're ready to walk in obedience and peace, trusting God's direction more than your feelings. Why is the government hiding this 7-second brain ritual from the public? A leaked CIA document just exposed a brain technique so powerful, it's helping people cancel debt and call in wealth within days. Validated by 4 top neuroscience labs, this method is changing everything. But this secret won't stay online long. Click the link in description and comments now to access it before it's permanently deleted. You have been called to greater things. You are stepping into a space that requires full alignment with the voice of God, not just occasional agreement with His will. And for that, you must be surrounded by people who carry oil, not confusion. People who lift you toward your calling, not wrap you in cycles. The person with the name beginning with M may not be evil. That's what makes this so hard. Sometimes it would be easier if they were. But when someone is good to you yet not good for you, it creates a war between your heart and your spirit. And that is where many lose their way, trying to hold on to what feels familiar, even when it's no longer bearing fruit. God's instructions don't always make emotional sense at first. But they always lead to peace. And right now, that is what He's offering you, peace that is no longer delayed, no longer buried under emotional debt. Peace that is real. Peace that lasts. You've been pouring out. You've been loyal. You've tried to be the one who makes things work, who holds everything together, who stays even when it's heavy. But God is telling you now, release it. Let go. Let Him be the one to carry what you were never designed to hold. He's been whispering it gently through your sleepless nights. Through the quiet sighs you've been releasing after every call, every conversation, every moment that drains more than it fills. And He is not done speaking. But He will not shout. He will wait for your yes. He will wait for your surrender. And when you give it, He will move mountains. He will realign your path. He will silence the noise that has been stealing your rest. This moment is not about loss. It is about gain. It is about stepping out of the fog and into clarity. It is about lifting your eyes again to where your help truly comes from. Not from people. Not from past comforts. But from the one who sees you, who has called you, who knows your next 10 steps even when you're still trying to take the first one. He is faithful. He is kind. And He is patient with your heart. But He will not compromise your future to keep you comfortable in the present. You might still be wondering why this person is the one God keeps bringing up. Why the letter M, why this specific name, why now? But you don't need all the reasons. You just need to trust the feeling that won't leave, the confirmation that keeps returning, the message that keeps reaching you even when you weren't looking for it. That's not coincidence. That's pursuit. That's love. That's God chasing your peace. He wants more for you than survival. He wants you to thrive. He wants your mornings to begin without dread, your nights to end in true rest. He wants your relationships to water your spirit, not deplete it. He wants to remind you that you were never meant to live in spiritual confusion. You were made for connection that brings peace, not fear. Growth, not guilt. Healing, not hidden tension. So let this be the day you stop wondering if this word is for you. It is. Let this be the moment you stop pretending you don't know. You do. And that knowing is holy. It's divine. It's God working through your instincts, your discernment, your sensitivity to the Spirit. It is His voice echoing in places you thought had gone silent. He's never been silent. You just haven't been ready to hear it. But now, He sees you are. And now, He's asking for one thing, your trust. You don't have to make an announcement. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't even have to confront. Sometimes obedience is quiet. Sometimes the most powerful moves are made in silence. A silent release. A private decision. A whispered prayer of surrender. That is all he asks. And in return, he promises more peace than you've ever known. More alignment than you've ever walked in. More clarity than you thought was possible. Because this is not about a single person. This is about your calling. This is about protecting the fire inside of you. This is about the people you're called to reach, the healing you're meant to walk in, the purpose that's been waiting for you to step into it fully. And none of that can happen while you're still tied to what's draining you. Let it go, and watch what God builds in its place. Somewhere in the quiet of your soul, you've already known. You've already felt the shift, the weight, the subtle unease that follows certain moments, certain words, certain presences. You have been trying to brush it off, trying to cover it in grace, trying to tell yourself that maybe you're wrong, maybe it's just a phase. But peace doesn't lie. Peace doesn't pretend. When the Spirit of God begins to stir discomfort inside you concerning someone, you must listen. The person whose name begins with M may not be doing anything obvious, but it's not always what's seen, it's what's sensed. It's what God sees behind what you can't. That is what matters. This is the time to listen without fear, to obey without needing every answer. God has seen what you cannot. He has heard what was spoken when you weren't in the room. He has seen the intentions that were never revealed to your face. He knows what their presence would eventually cost you, what it could delay, what it could wound, and he loves you too much to let that happen without intervention. That's what this message is. Not a warning to make you afraid. A call to bring you into safety. Comment 999 if you're choosing safety in God's voice over comfort in what you've outgrown. Can 7 seconds really change your bank account overnight? A CIA-funded study just leaked, revealing a brain ritual that's flipping lives from broke to blessed. 4 neuroscience labs confirm it activates powerful wealth attraction brainwaves. People are now stepping into dream homes and luxury lifestyles. But this breakthrough won't stay online for long. Click the link in the description and comments now before it's deleted forever. This is a breaking point, not of something falling apart, but of something being broken off. Chains. Patterns. Misalignment. Cycles. You may not realize how deep this connection has held you until you walk away and feel how light your soul becomes. The truth is, the longer you remain tied to someone who was only meant to be temporary, the harder it becomes to recognize your reflection. You begin adjusting yourself, dimming your voice, twisting your spirit to fit what was never meant to last. God is undoing that now. He is reclaiming you from it. He is speaking to the deepest parts of you and saying, it's time to come out from under what has been weighing you down. There is no peace in disobedience, even if it looks peaceful on the surface. There is no lasting joy in holding onto someone out of guilt or fear. The person with the name that begins with M may not have meant to be a burden to your walk, but their presence has begun to confuse your clarity. And what confuses your clarity becomes dangerous when your purpose depends on it. You have assignments waiting. You have people to reach, prayers to birth, blessings to receive, and all of them require your full presence, your full strength, and a clear spirit. This person may not understand. You may not even feel ready to have the conversation. That's okay. This doesn't require a loud goodbye. It only requires a quiet yes to God. Let Him handle the rest. Let Him be the one who speaks where your words fall short. He knows how to part things gently, how to shield you as you obey, how to bring healing even in separation. You don't need to perform your peace for anyone. You just need to protect it. Some doors need to close without you reopening them every few weeks just to see if the feeling has changed. If God said to walk away, trust that He meant it. If He is showing you this person's name again and again, tugging at your spirit with this message, then know that this is a holy moment. Heaven does not waste words. The Spirit does not repeat things for no reason. This is not just an emotional signal. This is a spiritual alarm. And when God sounds the alarm, it's because something on the other side of your obedience is ready to be released.